What is up, everyone? Is your boy Thriller here? We are here for the top 32, taking on Coach, or not Coach, really, but basically a player, not the Zodiac, aka Zodiac here, and his terrifying team. You can see his six that he has got there. He also had a Driplim and a Terra Wigglytuff, and his other Terra Captain, he does have his Terra Raging Bolt. Against our team, we are primarily a defensive but offensive uh, Gouging Fire, Trick Room offensive MAGEARNA, Adamant offensive Miracle Seed, Ogerpon, fully Spadef AV, Blastoise, Screens with Spirit Breaking Facade on the Grimmsnarl, and Weakness Policy, kind of Spadef, bulky, fast offensive, Lugia. So yeah. And the reason why this is post-com, I think I got a little too salty with my commentary near the end of the video. I think I made a little bit of unnecessary things said. Like, they weren't bad things. They were just me questioning plays and stuff like that. And I felt like that was not that entertaining. I felt that would have made me look like a poor sport. So I didn't really want to show that. And it's not, again, it's one of those things I didn't feel proud of. Whether I won or lost, I should still have a good attitude and not really show any types of, you know, rude remarks or anything like that. So I decided to re-record because I felt like that was the right thing to do, and I felt it was a lot more better. And this is going to be a lot more professional, as it is definitely what my type of quality I want my channel to be: is having some good professional content to its best of degrees and having the best type of videos for you guys. So with that, let's go ahead and get into this. This is the top 32 of the JJDL Ubers Tour. We're taking on Coach Zodiac here, and his team is very terrifying. So real quick, we're gonna go ahead and just get into the starting here just to kind of give you guys the ideas here. So he has decided his Terra Captain, like I said, was readable. He actually brought fire, which for some reason I was not prepping with what type of Terra type I wanted this thing to be facing me with. And I really didn't think about what type of Terra type I was thinking of was going to be concerning against me. And he brought fire. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't have rock or ground coverage. I don't have dragon coverage. I can't touch this thing with this if it Terras. So this thing will just straight up win. So I have to play around that. I decided to lead off my Lugia just because if he just decided to go for knockoff and Iron Shreds, or he tries to go for the Volt Switch with the Raging Bolt, I get my weakness policy proc, and I can go from there. So I go for the Earth Power here. Do about 47%. That's minus the Death Drop is kind of huge because it now means it's guaranteed not going to die. Now, this could have potentially been a roll, and I just got a low roll, and then I could have gone to the high roll, so who knows. He's actually going to go for the Thunderbolt here, not the Volt Switch, proc my weakness policy, and he's going to reveal to be Mirror Herb on his Raging Bolt, which is really good tech. He really came prepared for this one. But now we're in an interesting situation here, right? Where I can just go for the offensive hit. I outspeed him, knock him out, but he also could go for Thunderclap here. So, in my honest opinion, I do make what was probably the safest play for me. I think he makes a little bit too much of a risky play here. He actually goes for the Thunderclap here, as I am actually going for the Recover to get back to my multi-scale. I'm going to go for another Earth Power, as this is going to go for my multi-scale, and I'm going to knock out the Raging Bolt. Now, I do think Thunderclapping there the first time, I think that was kind of a misplay. I honestly would have just gone for Thunderbolt to that point, especially since I do not have an Electric Resist. I think you always go for Thunderbolt there, potentially speaking. Um, but again, he went with what was probably the safe play, and plus, I think he didn't lose a downside. He probably was hoping I was not going to go for the recover there. He probably thought I was going to go for uh the attack, which is a fair shout that I could have gone for the attack there. But I felt like I wanted to keep Lugia around to kind of because Lugia can do a lot of work here now that Raging Bolt's gone. They can take on the rest of the team besides can decently take on Treads. It beats Treads 1v1. It literally beat everything besides Darkrai, which low key really wish I had Aeroblast now, because if I had Aeroblast, we're gonna see why. Because he's going to Darkrai, and this was a really tough call. I almost Earth Power, which would have 2 KO'd this thing, and I was so close, so unbelievably close. I really wish I moved my gut and put Earth Power, but I needed something to hit Calyrex for super effective damage in case my boost got up. And I'm really kicking myself now not having Aeroblast. If I had Aeroblast there, let's just look at this calc, right? Let's just look at a normal Darkrai, which I think was pretty much the normal thing here. I had a Lugia with Calm Mind. I believe it was max special attack modus, I think, with +2 Aeroblast, I would have guaranteed knocked out this Darkrai. And part of me felt like it wasn't worth the risk because you're gonna see here obviously like if it Dark Pulse, I'm not max HP. I'm like no H. I would say I'm like let's just say like I'm like 179 HP. And then look at this. I was in range of Dark Pulse. As you can clearly see, I was in range of Dark Pulse. If it was Life Orb, it guaranteed knock me out. If it didn't, it was a roll to knock me out. With this Dark Pulse, it was 100% a roll, but I couldn't risk this thing, especially if it is Life Orb, because most variants of Darkrai are Life Orb. As I'm going to go ahead and make the switch out here, is he's going to go for the Hypnosis. And you know what's funny? If I had Aeroblast and clicked it right there, that Mon was dead. That Mon was straight up dead. Now, the only problem would have been Calyrex was going to be set in for free. And if I'm going to be completely honest with you, I definitely would have just attacked Calyrex that was in front of me, let it set up its Trick Room, probably go into Grimmsnarl, let Grimmsnarl take the hit, reflect up, and then try to weaken it down the best I can. Go to Magearna, and I can just Flash Cannon or Horror Spear, depending on how much HP it, like depending on what percentage it was at, and then go from there and force it out. I basically would have been trading just my Grimmsnarl, and then Magearna could have started putting in so much work into Zodiac's team, but it is what it is. So they go for the Hypnosis. They do miss as they go into Doug Dimmadome. I go for the Reflect here, which I'm actually low-key proud of myself for going Reflect here. You're about to see why. First, we're going to set the Trick Room with Magearna. I'm going for the Aura Spear as they do reveal to be Assault Vested there. And I actually get a really good roll in that one. They Earthquake here. I decided to go for Aura Spear again. And I'm going to tell you all right now, I was so damn close to clicking Flash Cannon. I was so damn close to clicking Flash Cannon there. Because Urshifu would never be the pivot. Everything else could be the pivot, right? Between Weezing and Darkrai. They can always be the pivot. But the only number one pivot that makes the most sense to my Magearna at this point in time is the Weezing. But the thing is, Weezing would have still taken a very good chunk, and I'm pretty confident that my Flash Cannon then would have two-shotted this Treads on the switch in, or at least it would have been a roll to two-shot. And then there would have probably been one or two Trick Room turns left, and then we could have played around there. I definitely could have kept my Magearna around potentially as well. But I'm glad I went for that Aura Spear play. As now in comes the horse, and we're going to find out that this horse is definitely the zero speed IV horse that it was supposed to be. I had specifically creeped this thing to make sure it was absolutely zero speed with zero IVs, so it'd actually be 1 point slower than this thing if it had the 31 IV still. But unfortunately, didn't see it that way. Now, his best move to hit me was with high horsepower, and it maximum does 42% to me. So I actually will live this hit, and I can get the splash cannon off here. And he is going to go with high horsepower. I am going to live that hit, and I'm going to go for the flash cannon, knock out that Calyrex, and traded my Magearna for this. Now, I did look at the Calx bag, and I was kind of thinking if I could have run an expert belt. But if I was expert belt with my Pacific spread that Zodiac had with his starting treads, I actually would not have two-shotted it. I would have to get absolute max roll on both hits to KO it. And if he got that second Earthquake off, I would have 100% been in range of that high horsepower to be able to KO me, which is definitely not good. So Expert probably would have been enough to take it out as well at +1, but I couldn't risk that, so we went for that. We basically traded this. Now Weezing gets to come in for free here, as now I get to go into my Lugia. I get a free recover off here. I was tempted to Earth Power to get some good damage off on this Darkrai, but I decided to go into my Blastoise as he actually decides to go for the substitute, which was a smart play because this lets him now get a free would have gotten him a free hypnosis. He goes for the dark pulse here, and unfortunately does get a flinch, but it didn't matter there because of the fact I couldn't actually break his sub. Now you're gonna see I'm gonna do a crit here with this Surf. The crit didn't matter. I break his sub guarantee. And at this point in time, I'm just gonna be spamming Surf. And he actually decides to spam Substitute, which I think was a little bit of a weird play because he's weakening down his Darkrai. So I don't know. I did have Mirror Coat on that set, and I would have loved to use it this week, but I couldn't, unfortunately, with how it was. But he switches out, knowing that he has to switch out here. My Ogre Pawn is now in. I am +2. My Zen Headbutt will not guarantee knock this out because it's going to be fully Fizz Def. Based on the calc that I looked at with a fully Fizz Def set, it doesn't get to get. But if I get a flinch right here, the game is 100% over. There is no if, ands, or buts. This game is over because If you get flinched by Zen Headbutt, Cuddledge, 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 I'm Miracle Seed boosted. There's no way he can win this game. So we go for the Zen Headbutt, and we don't. And he decides to run Gunk Shot. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't really know why Gunk Shot was brought. I felt like a special poison type move made sense, especially since you're Fizz Death, right? So he must have been relaxed nature if that was the case to be running Gunk Shot over Bold. But in my opinion, I don't know why you would risk Gunk Shot in this matchup when it has a chance to miss. Like that, like if he missed right there, that was 100% game. And I really do, I mean, he obviously probably had a specific reason why he ran Gunk Shot. Probably has a good chance for poison and probably did the most damage to my team, probably. But I don't personally agree with a Gunk Shot bring here, especially when I had a chance to miss him a game. But ended up paying it off for him here. He has lands it and knocks us out here, which is unfortunate. But now I go into my Gouging Fire here. I go for a free Dragon Dance. I realistically should have just went for that Iron Head here. Not let this thing. Okay, computer, stop doing this. But I go for Iron Head here. If I can get one flinch, we can kind of get back in this game. I once again will not get the flinch, and he once again lands a gunk shot, which, But now I go into my John Deere. I have Facade on my Grimmsnarl here, and I'm going to go ahead and just get this thing knocked out here. And now in comes the Darkrai. I was heavily debating putting up a light screen here, but I'm going to have Spirit Break here, and we're just gonna do this until he knocks me out with Sludge Bomb. He goes for Hypnosis, which is unfortunate because I did 2-hit KO this Dark right here. I go for the Earth Power as he actually goes for the Dark Pulse here, which I'm happy he did that because that way he wasn't trying to stall at this game. If I got a crit, that was probably a roll we killed him, but I don't think we would have won the game because he was Banded Urshifu in the back, and Banded Urshifu knocked me out at that point. Not gonna lie, at the end of this battle, I was a little salty just because of the fact that he lands two gunk shots. He gets a flinch on my Blastoise. Now, obviously, I got a Death Drop on the Raging Bolt, but again, that could have been a roll, and a plus, I got the +2. So even if that Death Drop happened, I still O-coded that thing where it was at. So in my opinion, the Death Drop did not matter. The miss on the Hypnosis honestly did not matter as well since he was trying to set up T-Spikes. So I don't think that matters at all really as well. But again, when your opponent lands two gongs and a hypnosis and you can't get at least one flinch, little bit of tilting with a little bit of soul, but overall Zodiac played really good. And again, the Urshifu was something I actually did not expect to be brought. He gave his reasons why, and it's definitely fair reasoning. But in my opinion, I still don't think I would have brought Urshifu, and I do think he could have made some plays that could have actually made this a little harder for me to win this one. But we played to our best of our ability. This was honestly the toughest matchup we had. I think between not Crab, between SawCon and Zodiac, I would probably say they're kind of tied for our hardest matches we had so far in the entire tournament. I think this one was just a little more tougher because I had nothing for his top three, which was Cali, Terrabolt, and Iron Treads. Those top three were insanely good into me, and I had no way to stop those three. And then you paired in Darkrai, which is not a terrible mon into me. It does do it to me well. Then you have Galarian Weezing, which was actually a pretty good check to most things I have. And then, just everything else was kind of mid or didn't really make a lot of sense. But yeah, we lose this one. We're out, and unfortunately, that's it for our run. We now, for the second time in a row, when it comes to these tournaments, we have made the top 32, but we have not made it past anywhere else. The hardest we ever made into a tournament was a 5-week preseason into the tournament brackets playoff and then tournament brackets itself, where he did make semifinals, where we lost to Fepsis. So we are still waiting to improve to make at least finals or win our first tournament with these type of formats. But this was honestly a lot of fun. I wanted to do this to kind of get myself back into Mons as well when I was doing my break from Draft League. But this was honestly a lot of fun. I think I did. Honestly, I played this game super well. I think I'm really proud how I played. The only thing maybe I would have done differently was try to kill the not gouging, kill this, then potentially set up, then he crash until he brought into Urshifu potentially, and then maybe going for an Morning Sun or something like that. He did have Stone Edge, which then if it was Stone Edge, then it was left with this and this. which then at that point in time, when it came down to Darkrai having to land and potentially Hypnosis or going for Dark Pulse Flinches or playing around some stuff like that, I definitely think we could have played a tiny bit better near that end game potentially, but and made a few changes. But I think overall, I played phenomenal. I think I played everything right. I made every turn count. And sometimes you just get a really bad matchup. But yeah, GG's to Zodiac. He actually played really well. I'm wishing him the best of luck in top 16. He has a really good team. And he's definitely going to be one of the tough ones to beat. So yeah, he's also a phenomenal player as well. I think this is our first time facing Zodiac. I might have faced him in OJDL. I may have faced him in Owens League. I don't 100% remember. And there could be a chance I also had faced him in John's League, the JJDL, but I don't remember as well. But anyways, good match to him. He played really well. And yeah, that's gonna be it for our season. And I may upload a draft league run that I did make that was kind of my quote unquote return to draft. Not counting this one. This was like a mini tournament, so it wasn't like a full return. But my one semi fully returned draft league. I may upload that before the end of January, or I may upload the very first or second of January. Don't really know yet. I'm gonna make a decision by that, probably the end of this week or so, maybe. Who knows? But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get our way up to 150 subs. We're supposed to hit 200, but if we hit 150 before the end of the year, I would appreciate it. But 200 is the main end of the year goal. 150 is just the minimum goal that I would like to hit. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye.